Rome salted Carthage's earth so nothing would ever grow again. They tried to erase this empire from history, but archaeologists just discovered something that proves Rome was terrified of one thing: Carthage coming back. This is the empire that almost ended Rome forever. For 700 years, one empire made Rome tremble. While Rome was still a collection of mud huts on 7 hills, Carthage controlled the Mediterranean, commanded the seas, and built the ancient world's first global empire. They created the first international trade network. They invented purple dye that made kings jealous. They sailed beyond the Pillars of Hercules when Romans were afraid to leave Italy. And when Rome finally challenged them, Carthage sent a general with war elephants across the Alps who came within miles of ending the Roman Republic forever. This is why Rome didn't just defeat Carthage, they tried to erase it from existence. But you can't destroy an idea, and Carthage was more than an empire. It was a revolution. The story begins 3,000 years ago with the Phoenicians, history's first global traders. While other civilizations fought over land, the Phoenicians conquered something far more valuable: the sea. They gave us the alphabet you're reading right now. Every letter traces back to Phoenician symbols created for one purpose: international trade. They discovered how to extract purple dye from murex shells, a secret so valuable that purple became the color of royalty. 1 pound of Tyrian purple costs more than a house. From their homeland in modern Lebanon, they established trading posts across the Mediterranean, but one colony would surpass them all. Around 814 BCE, Princess Dido fled political turmoil in Tyre and founded a new city on the North African coast. She called it Carthage, the new city. The Romans would call it Carthage. Carthage inherited Phoenician genius but amplified it. They built the ancient world's most sophisticated harbor system to circular ports connected by a narrow channel. The military harbor could house 220 warships. The commercial harbor handled merchant vessels from across the known world. This wasn't just a port, it was the beating heart of global commerce. Carthaginian merchants spoke dozens of languages. Their coins were accepted from Britain to India. They traded African ivory for Baltic amber, Spanish silver for Chinese silk. But Carthage had a dark secret that would haunt its reputation forever. Roman propaganda claimed they practiced child sacrifice at sites called Tophets. Modern archaeology suggests this might have been cremation cemeteries, but the accusations gave Rome a moral justification for war. By 264 BCE, 2 superpowers controlled the Mediterranean. Rome dominated Italy. Carthage controlled everything else. A collision was inevitable. The spark came from Sicily. Both empires wanted this strategic island. In 264 BCE, the First Punic War began, a 23-year struggle that would determine the fate of the Mediterranean. Rome had one problem: they were terrible sailors. Carthage had ruled the seas for centuries. So Rome did something unprecedented. They reverse-engineered a captured Carthaginian ship and built a navy from scratch. At the Battle of Mylae in 260 BCE, Rome's secret weapon was revealed: the Corvus, a boarding bridge that turned naval battles into land battles. Suddenly, Roman legions could fight at sea. Rome even invaded North Africa. General Regulus landed near Carthage and demanded surrender. But Carthage hired a Spartan general named Xanthippus, who destroyed the Roman army using war elephants and cavalry. After 23 years, Rome won. Carthage lost Sicily and paid massive reparations. But this wasn't peace, it was just an intermission. In 237 BCE, a 9-year-old boy named Hannibal stood before an altar in Carthage. His father, Hamilcar Barca, made him swear an oath: "I will never be a friend to Rome." Hamilcar had a plan. Since Carthage lost Sicily, he would build a new empire in Spain. Rich in silver mines and fierce warriors, Spain would become Carthage's revenge. Hannibal grew up in military camps, learning warfare from the best generals of his age. By 26, he commanded the Carthaginian army in Spain. Rome watched nervously. In 219 BCE, Hannibal besieged Saguntum, a Roman ally in Spain. Rome demanded he stop. Hannibal's response was to capture the city and execute its leaders. The Second Punic War had begun. But instead of waiting for Rome to attack, Hannibal did the impossible. He assembled an army of 90,000 men, 12,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants, and marched toward the Alps. The journey was a nightmare. Alpine tribes attacked constantly. Rockslides killed thousands. The cold killed most of the elephants. But after 15 days, Hannibal emerged in northern Italy with 26,000 survivors. Rome had never seen anything like Hannibal's war elephants. At the Battle of Trebia in 218 BCE, these massive beasts smashed through Roman formations like they were made of paper. At Lake Trasimene, Hannibal ambushed an entire Roman army in the fog. 15,000 Romans died in 3 hours. Rome was in panic. But Hannibal's masterpiece was Cannae in 216 BCE, using a double envelopment tactic still studied in military academies today. He surrounded and destroyed the largest army Rome had ever assembled. 70,000 Romans died in a single day. Hannibal was now 300 miles from Rome. His officers begged him to march on the city. But Hannibal hesitated. He lacked siege equipment and knew Rome's walls were strong. That hesitation saved Rome. Instead of facing Hannibal in battle, the Romans adopted Fabian tactics, avoiding major engagements while cutting off his supplies and reinforcements. While Hannibal terrorized Italy, a young Roman general named Scipio was studying his tactics. Scipio had a radical idea: attack Carthage itself. In 204 BCE, Scipio landed in North Africa. Suddenly, Carthage was fighting for its life. They recalled Hannibal from Italy after 16 years of campaigning. At Zama, in 202 BCE, the two greatest generals of the ancient world finally faced each other. Scipio had learned from Hannibal's tactics and turned them against him. For the first time in his career, Hannibal was defeated. Carthage surrendered. They lost their empire, their navy, and their independence.